This week is full speed ahead as we talk about Tesla, we talk about Apple's App Store being under fire again, and we talk about Huawei's relationship with the US. As we, together, as a people, check it out. Welcome to another sensational Saturday. Guess who it is? It's Mike, and this is Mike Texts It Out. And it's Saturday, so I'm bringing you the tech news, and I promise you it is going to be the highest quality tech news, smooth transitions that are not corny and they make sense. This is not a corny show. This is very serious. Just like the whole situation with Huawei and the US have been over the last, I don't even know, years, couple years, 3 years. It's been a while, y'all. It's been a while. So if you're not familiar with the situation, basically Huawei is a Chinese company. They make phones, but most importantly, they're one of the biggest manufacturers in the world for cell phone equipment, like, towers, things like that. And right now they're kind of leading the charge with 5G. But because they're a Chinese company and there's some weird stuff that happened with them between them and the US and some other countries, a lot of companies don't trust them. They're sending information to China. That's all I'm really going to about the backstory. It's a lot. If you're not familiar with it, you really got to look it up on your own or go watch some of my previous Mike Texts It Out videos. Every Saturday, baby. Ha! Ha! So it's been going on for a little while now, but basically all US companies are barred from doing business with Huawei. The ban's been in place for a while. It affected Huawei in a big way because they did businesses with a lot of US companies, including Google, to license their version of Android, and they've had to use open source Android and build their own app store, etc. But things may be changing for Huawei because the US government recently has allowed US companies to work with Huawei, sorta, on developing 5G technology, but they can't share any specifics. They can just work with them to develop the technology. So let's have a breakdown of what's going on and why this is in place. But basically when it comes to 5G technology, Huawei is like number one. Like I asked Nelly and he said Huawei is number one and that 2 is not a winner and 3 nobody remembers. And this is from Nelly himself. Cornell Haynes told me this. So that means that the US, if they want to, hop on this 5G train and get everybody on 5G, they're going to have to somewhat work with Huawei to at least see if they can lend a hand, getting our technology up to snuff. So who knows how this is going to end up, but at least for now, we're working together a little bit, kinda. And who could have used a little bit of tower love, cell phone tower love? Ooh, that was, That transition, I'm sorry. But T-Mobile, because on Monday, they had a 12-hour outage. And honestly, I didn't even notice that there was an outage because I've been at home like 90% of the week. So considering that I'm always connected to Wi-Fi and I talk to my iPhone people on iMessage, I talk to most of the Android users I know on Facebook Messenger because let's be honest, I can't do SMS with Android users. It's just not robust enough. We need to get to a solution to this, but for now, y'all gotta be on some kind of third-party messenger. Everybody I know already has Facebook, so we just do Facebook. And then on top of that, I never get phone calls. Like rarely do I get phone calls. So I didn't even notice this whole outage was going on. My friend messages me and he's like, oh, there's a big T-Mobile outage going on. And I'm like, where? So yeah, they were down for 12 hours. People thought it might have been a DDoS attack. There was all kinds of speculations going on. Like who took out T-Mobile? We was all ready to fight because I'm a T-Mobile user too, obviously. We was all up there with fisticuffs up. We were ready to fight. Come to find out that there was some kind of fiber issue where some fiber got cut or something. And then their backup network basically failed to deploy properly, and then it got overloaded. So basically, yeah. So there's a failure failed. And then we went to the backup failed, and there was nothing else for the backup to fail from. So everything just failed for 12 hours. So I'm waiting on my credit, y'all. My T-Mobile 12-hour outage credit. I want my 30 cents for a half a day of service not working, all right? Put my full 30 cents up there, and I want it in big red letters on my bill. Bigger than everything else. 30 cents for half the day. Thank you. I mean, to me, it really seems like T-Mobile needs to do some quality insurance testing on their backup networks just in case of an emergency like this. And speaking of quality assurance, Tesla had a quality assurance issue recently. Huh? Transition was crisp. It's been reported online by a bunch of people recently that they've had quality issues with their Tesla Model Ys that they've received, like things from the car just having scratches on it, to like the seat belts being broken or not working properly. There's all kinds of things that would seem like it's minor, but this is an expensive car. We're talking about, we're talking about $50,000 to $60,000. That's like a quarter of a house, half of a house. So it's really a big deal, especially things like seat belts. A safety feature like that, you get a car and your seat belt's not working. That's crazy. So there's an article on Ars Technica about it, and I was reading through it. It's really interesting. There's been a lot of changes in their production pipelines, basically, and that's kind of the speculation of what might be going on is the changes. Maybe they're cutting costs, or either that or the company that's taking over for their production, and maybe they're just not there yet. Like they're just producing stuff because they had to hurry up and get it out, and they're just not doing the quality checks that they should. But either way, the car is just too expensive to becoming broke. Like if my car came broke, I'd be like, take this back. I'll just push it over to the UPS, let it self-drive back over there. I'm like, nah, drive yourself back over to wherever you came from and tell your friend to come, the one that has everything working. It's just gonna drive off, headlights gonna be all like half closed stuff, I'm looking outside like, woo, woo. I'm like, leave. Don't come back until you're fixed. I mean, these kind of issues definitely suck because Tesla, they're kind of the leader in making the electric car cool, and I definitely want one. As soon as I can afford one, I'm getting one, which maybe never, but you gotta have dreams. And hopefully by then those issues are ironed out. And speaking of ironed out, there's no reason for Magic Leap to get the iron out, to get their nice clothes together to wear to court because their case got dismissed. Woo! Killing it. So last year, Magic Leap apparently alleged that a former employee that left to go start their own VR-based company called InReal stole their secrets. The employee's name was Chai Zhu. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If I don't, I sincerely apologize. So basically this other company, InReal, launching a similar product, which is a VR headset. I know Magic Leap was trying to do something amazing, and then it turned out not to be so amazing, and now they're in like a really weird spot where they're transitioning away from what they were doing previously. I don't know what's going on with them. So basically they were like, yo, we're taking you to court because we believe that you stole our secrets while you work with us and used it to start your own company. And then they got to court, and the judge was like, bam, unsubstantiated. There's no real evidence that they used any of your trade secrets, so get out of here. Case got completely dismissed. Disrespected Magic Leap. Like, they crying now. What are they gonna do? They ain't got no money. They used it all to develop this weird AR thing that wasn't as good a quality as they made it seem like, and it was a whole weird, almost scam type thing, but they actually produced a product. Anyway, InReal gets to exist as its own company and continue, as long as Magic Leap doesn't try to come after the guy or the company again. And hopefully Magic Leap will do something magic. We can leap for joy. And in our final story, speaking of leaping, a lot of people were leaping for their pitchforks this week as they're mad at Apple again for their strict App Store guidelines. Nailed it. Killed another transition, thank you. All right, so there's this whole weird situation with this app called Hey. And not like hey, but hey. I mean, it's the same word, but I don't know which context it's supposed to be taken in. I just read it, so I'm assuming it's not a hey, it's more of a hey, because it's an email app. I mean, you could say like hey over it. Anyway, let's just get back to the point. So the app was on the App Store, it got approved, and then it basically got suspended, and Apple was like, nah, you can't do no more updates unless you pay us that money. Because Hey, or Hey, not sure, is a paid subscription service. So the way it works on Apple Store is if you have an app that's a subscription service and users can sign up for the app through the iPhone app directly, Apple has to get a cut of that profit. Now from what they were saying is like 25 or 30%. Now that is a lot of profit just for being on the App Store. But again, iOS is a closed ecosystem. So yeah, to get up there and sell up there, you kind of have to play by their rules, and it sucks. And a lot of people don't want to lose that profit, especially because it's $100 a year. So that's literally they're literally getting like $30 for each customer that signs up. So if they did it, so The app was suspended, and then a lot of people got mad about it. The developer of the app literally complained online openly about it. And then people were mad because there's like a whole antitrust lawsuit in the EU with Apple about stuff like this with the App Store. You know, it's a service that these users are paying for and they don't have a way to access it on their iPhone, at least legitimately. So I can understand people being angry about it. The part that sucks is when it affects the end user. Now, you can say that Apple's petty for charging the money, but they are providing the store and providing the platform. And you can say the other company's petty for not paying the money to be on the platform if they really want to. Either way, it sucks on both ends, on Apple and the developers, because they couldn't work out some kind of agreement. I'm going to say a little bit more because Apple's rules are pretty rigid and they're not really going to bend on them. But it just sucks when it affects the end user because two big companies can't make an agreement, and that's really the bottom line. So after all the controversy, Apple responded and they opened up their hearts and they said, well, basically, we never meant to approve the app anyway. It was a mistake. And we're not changing our policy for one app. So, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, that's the way it is. Tupac, Thug Life, I don't care. That's literally their response. So, Apple's going to be Apple. Personally, how do I feel about Apple and the App Store and the revenue that they pick up from these other companies? I don't care. Just get the app on the App Store. Just make it work. Figure something out. If you gotta pay them, if you really want to be on the App Store that bad, then pay them. If not, just launch a mobile site and then be like, use the mobile site. There's your solution. I got time for this. Yes, I can see how companies can argue like, oh, it's a bit unfair that Apple's taking this profit from us, but it's a closed ecosystem. They can do whatever they want to. They own the whole thing. The App Store, they can't stop you from making a mobile site and then, going to it on a browser and accessing it on their phone. But yes, they do control the App Store, so it might suck to have to give up that much profit, but you gotta do what you gotta do to be on the App Store, baby. This is an exclusive club. This ain't for the poor people. You gotta come up here, you got an app, trying to sell something on the app, you gotta break us off a little something. That's basically it. So Apple's got themselves out there looking bad on WWDC Eve. They'll recover. I don't think anybody's gonna care about this in a week. But what you could care about in a week is me. Because I'll be back next week with more tech news. And I'll be back on Tuesday with a long-awaited follow-up to the Secret Gaming Man USB 2.0 cable debacle that happened. So stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.